Hi, and welcome to Your Ticket to Snoozeville. My name is Suzanne, and I'm your host. I'm not sure how you discovered this podcast tonight. Maybe you follow it, and if you do, thank you. It could be that you found it because you searched on the words Yoga Nidra, and this came up. Or maybe you were just scrolling on your phone and the artwork caught your eye. But regardless of how you ended up listening tonight, I know one thing for sure about you, and that's why you're listening. It's because you want to sleep. Everyone who's listening in the dark tonight has that in common. We all know what it's like to wait, conscious of time ticking by, the morning getting closer and closer, and you just want to sleep. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, whether you're young or old, how perfect or imperfect your life is. Insomnia is the great equalizer. We are all equally frustrated by our inability to get to sleep. But here, I try and help. With each episode, I'll talk for a few minutes about sleep or sleep hygiene and why it's important. And then we'll engage in a relaxation technique to induce sleep. Tonight, it's something new called Yoga Nidra. And don't worry, Yoga Nidra is not what you typically think of as yoga. There's no downward dog or warrior one, just a gateway to deep relaxation. If you're still awake after that, I'll read for a while, and when that's done, the music will continue, hopefully for as long as you need to drift off. But before we start, I have just a few things to mention. 1, please ensure that you are somewhere in which it is safe to fall asleep. Your bed, or something closely approximating a bed, is preferred. 2, if you like what you hear, please follow this podcast, review it, or give it stars. You are also always welcome to buy me a coffee with the link in my show notes. So, a few reminders about sleep hygiene, which is just a term for creating the right environment in which to fall asleep. There are 6 important elements when it comes to sleep hygiene. I'm going to list them and just check them off mentally to see if you've been able to maintain any of these suggestions. The first one is, do you maintain a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends? Have you created a cool, dark, and quiet sleeping environment? What about screens? Have you made an effort to avoid screens for at least an hour before bedtime? And I know that's a tough one. I struggle with that one too. Do you limit caffeine after noon? And remember, caffeine is in more than coffee. The 5th suggestion is about natural sunlight. Were you able to get some natural sunlight during the day? We don't all live in sunny climates, so that might not be possible, but it helps if you can. And lastly, do you have a relaxing bedtime routine, or as relaxing as you can make it under your circumstances? Having gone through that list, there's also something crucial I want you to remember. While good sleep habits, the ones I've just mentioned, are important, try not to become too anxious about sleep itself. When we excessively worry about not sleeping, we create a cycle of anxiety that can make sleep even more elusive. Tonight, I invite you to release that worry. Simply being here, listening to my voice, is already a positive step. Now, let me introduce you to Yoga Nidra, our gateway to deep relaxation tonight. Yoga Nidra is Sanskrit for yoga sleep or psychic sleep. It's a very ancient practice that guides you into a state of conscious relaxation, and often this can lead to sleep. This practice has been scientifically shown to reduce anxiety, improve sleep quality, and help people who struggle with insomnia. What makes Yoga Nidra particularly special is how it affects our nervous system and brain waves. During practice, we guide the body and mind through different states of consciousness, from beta waves of normal wakefulness through alpha waves of relaxation, and into the theta waves associated with deep meditation and light sleep. This systematic relaxation triggers our parasympathetic nervous system. When activated, it lowers heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and decreases the production of stress hormones like cortisol. During our practice, lie comfortably while I guide your awareness through different parts of your body and into various peaceful visualizations. You may drift off to sleep during the practice, and that's perfectly fine. There's no wrong way to experience Yoga Nidra. Let's begin. Find a comfortable position on your bed. You can use a pillow under your knees if that feels good for your back. Make sure you're covered with a blanket, as body temperature tends to drop during relaxation. Take a few deep breaths, letting your body settle into its resting place, either in through the nose and out through the mouth, or in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel the weight of your body supported completely by the surface beneath you. Release any need to control anything. You are in a safe space where you can completely let go. Let's begin by setting a heartfelt intention for our practice tonight. Tonight, that intention is, I welcome deep, restorative sleep. I'll give you a few seconds of silence to say those words quietly to yourself a few times. I welcome deep, restorative sleep. Hold this intention in your heart and then let it go, trusting that it has been heard. Now, become aware of the sounds around you, if there are any. Don't try to change them or push them away. Simply notice them, accepting them as part of this moment. Gradually, let your attention shift to the more subtle sounds and then to the quiet spaces between sounds. Bring your awareness to your body. Feel its entire weight, its complete form. We'll now begin a systematic rotation of consciousness through different parts of your body. As I name each part, bring your awareness there, feeling it respond to your attention. Begin with your right hand, and then bring your attention to your thumb. Feel any tension melting away from the tip of your thumb. Then your index finger, letting go of any tension. Your middle finger becomes soft and heavy. Your ring finger relaxes completely. And your little finger, allow it to rest. Bring your attention to your palm, feeling the subtle pulsing of energy. And then the back of your hand softens. Your wrist loosens. Your forearm, release any tension. And your elbow becomes heavy. Be aware of your upper arm, letting go of tension. And then your right shoulder, melting into the surface beneath you. The left hand now, your thumb and your index finger. Be aware of your middle finger, your ring finger, and your little finger. Be conscious of your palm softening, and the back of your hand heavy. Your wrist loosens. Be conscious of your forearm heavy. Your elbow sinking deeper into the bed, and your upper arm, and then your left shoulder. Now you should feel that both arms are completely relaxed. Be aware of your face and your forehead, the space between your eyebrows, and then your right eyebrow, your left eyebrow, your right eyelid closing and heavy, and then your left eyelid closing and heavy. Your right eye and your left eye, your nose. Bring your awareness to your right cheek, your left cheek, your upper lip and lower lip, your jaw and tongue. the roof of your mouth and your throat, releasing any tension in your entire face. Bring your awareness to the top of your head and the back of your head, your right ear, your left ear, the back of your neck, and the front of your neck. Your whole neck now relaxing deeply. Bring your awareness to your chest, your upper chest, and your lower chest, the right side of your rib cage, and the left side of your rib cage, your upper back, then down to your middle back and your lower back. Your whole torso has become heavy and relaxed. Bring your awareness to your right hip and your right thigh, the front of your thigh and the back of your thigh, your right knee, your right calf, your right ankle, everything getting heavier, tension releasing, and then your right heel, the sole of your right foot, the top of your right foot, and your right big toe, your second toe, your third toe, fourth toe, and your little toe. Back to your left hip, and then bring your awareness to your left thigh, the front of your thigh, the back of your thigh, your left knee, and your left calf, everything relaxed and heavy. Your left ankle. Bring your awareness to your left heel, the sole of your left foot, the top of your left foot, your left big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and your little toe. And now we'll cycle through your body one more time, even deeper now. Bring your awareness to your right hand, your thumb, your index finger. Everything's getting heavier. Your middle finger, soft and heavy. Ring finger, relaxing completely. Your little finger, your palm, the back of your hand, softening. Your wrist, loosening. Forearm, releasing tension. Elbow, your upper arm, and your right shoulder, melting into the surface beneath you. Your left hand now, your thumb, your index finger, middle finger softening, your ring finger, your little finger, your palm, the back of your hand, your wrist. Everything now is loose and soft. Your forearm, and then the elbow, and your upper arm, and your left shoulder. Both arms now heavy, soft, and utterly relaxed. Up to your face, be aware of your forehead, the space between your eyebrows, your right eyebrow, your left eyebrow, your right eyelid heavy and closed, your left eyelid heavy and closed, your right eye and your left eye, your nose, your right cheek and your left cheek, your upper lip, your lower lip, your jaw and tongue, and the roof of your mouth and your throat, releasing any tension left in your entire face. Be aware of the top of your head and the back of your head, your right ear, your left ear, back of your neck, the front of your neck, and your whole neck relaxing deeply. Your chest. Be aware of your upper chest, your lower chest, the right side of your rib cage, and the left side of your rib cage, upper back, middle back, lower back. Your whole torso now is so heavy and relaxed. Be aware of your right hip, your right thigh, the front of your thigh, and the back of your thigh, your right knee, your right calf, your right ankle and heel, and the sole of your right foot, the top of your right foot, and your big toe, your second toe, your third toe, the fourth toe, and your little toe, your left hip, your left thigh, the front of your thigh, and the back of your thigh, your left knee, your left calf, the ankle and left heel, the sole of your left foot, the top of your left foot, your left big toe, and your second toe, your third toe, fourth toe, and your little toe. Now feel your whole body as one field of relaxed awareness, floating, drifting, completely at ease. Once again, hold your intention in your heart. I welcome deep, restorative sleep. Feel it resonating through your relaxed body. And now visualize in your mind a warm summer sky above you. Notice how incredibly vast and blue it is, stretching endlessly in all directions. You are lying on the softest blanket, feeling its gentle texture against your skin, supporting you completely. Watch as pure white clouds begin to drift across your field of vision. Each cloud is unique. Some are full and fluffy. Others are as wispy and delicate as silk. As you watch, notice that each cloud is carrying away a worry or concern. There goes a cloud with yesterday's stress. Watch it drift away until it disappears completely from view. Another cloud floats by, taking with it any tension about tomorrow. Let it float away, becoming smaller and smaller until it vanishes. A larger cloud approaches. This one is carrying any anxiety you have about sleep. Watch as it lifts this burden so gently, carrying it far away across the endless sky. You feel lighter with each cloud that passes. Your body and unconscious mind know how to sleep without any help from your waking mind. Feel how your body makes a gentle impression in the blanket beneath you. You are supported and safe. The boundary between your body and the earth beneath you begins to soften, as if you are becoming one with this peaceful scene. The clouds continue their gentle drift across the sky, each one taking with it any remaining thoughts or tensions, leaving you lighter, more relaxed with each passing moment. Your intention echoes softly one final time. I welcome deep, restorative sleep. Continue laying in this position or however you are most comfortable. Your heart rate has slowed, along with your breathing and your blood pressure. Although you're not aware of it, your body's temperature has fallen ever so slightly. Enjoy this stillness as I read a little, my words keeping you company, giving your mind something to focus on other than your thoughts. My voice, a companion in this place, the edge of sleep and wakefulness. And if you're ready, here is chapter 13 of Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. The chapter entitled How My Shore Adventure Began. The appearance of the island when I came on deck next morning was altogether changed. Although the breeze had now utterly ceased, we had made a great deal of way during the night and were now lying becalmed about half a mile to the southeast of the low eastern coast. Gray-colored woods covered a large part of the surface. This even tint was indeed broken up by streaks of yellow sandbreak in the lower lands and by many tall trees of the pine family outtopping the others, some singly, some in clumps, but the general coloring was uniform and sad. The hills ran up clear above the vegetation in spires of naked rock. All were strangely shaped, and the spyglass, which was by 300 or 400 feet, the tallest on the island, was likewise the strangest in configuration, running up sheer from almost every side, and then suddenly cut off at the top, like a pedestal to put a statue on. The Hispaniola was rolling scuppers under in the ocean swell. The booms were tearing at the blocks. The rudder was banging to and fro, and the whole ship creaking, groaning, and jumping like a manufactory. I had to cling tight to the backstay, and the world turned giddily before my eyes. For though I was a good enough sailor when there was way on, this standing still and being rolled about like a bottle was a thing I never learned to stand without a qualm or so, above all in the morning, on an empty stomach. Perhaps it was this, perhaps it was the look of the island, with its gray, melancholy woods and wild stone spires, and the surf that we could both see and hear foaming and thundering on the steep beach. At least, although the sun shone bright and hot, and the shore birds were fishing and crying all around us, and you would have thought anyone would have been glad to get to land after being so long at sea. My heart sank, as the saying is, into my boots. And from the first look onward, I hated the very thought of Treasure Island. We had a dreary morning's work before us, for there was no sign of any wind, and the boats had to be got out and manned, and the ship warped 3 or 4 miles round the corner of the island and up the narrow passage to the haven behind Skeleton Island. I volunteered for one of the boats, where I had, of course, no business. The heat was sweltering, and the men grumbled fiercely over their work. Anderson was in command of my boat, and instead of keeping the crew in order, he grumbled as loud as the worst. "Well," he said with an oath, "it's not forever." I thought this was a very bad sign, for up to that morning the men had gone briskly and willingly about their business. But the very sight of the island had relaxed the cords of discipline. All the way in, Long John stood by the steersman and conned the ship. He knew the passage like the palm of his hand, and though the man in the chains got everywhere more water than was down in the chart, John never hesitated once. "There's a strong scour with the ebb," he said, "and this here passage has been dug out, in a manner of speaking, with a spade. We brought up just where the anchor was in the chart, about 1/3 of a mile from each shore, the mainland on one side and Skeleton Island on the other. The bottom was clean sand. The plunge of our anchor sent up clouds of birds wheeling and crying over the woods. But in less than a minute, they were down again, and all was once more silent. The place was entirely landlocked, buried in woods, the trees coming right down to high water mark, the shores mostly flat, and the hilltops standing round at a distance in a sort of amphitheater, one here, one there. Two little rivers, or rather, two swamps, emptied out into this pond, as you might call it, and the foliage around that part of the shore had a kind of poisonous brightness. From the ship, we could see nothing of the house or stockade, for they were quite buried among trees, and if it had not been for the chart on the companion, we might have been the first that had ever anchored there since the island arose out of the seas. There was not a breath of air moving, nor a sound but that of the surf booming half a mile away along the beaches and against the rocks outside. A peculiar stagnant smell hung over the anchorage, a smell of sodden leaves and rotting tree trunks. I observed the doctor sniffing and sniffing like someone tasting a bad egg. "I don't know about treasure," he said, "but I'll stake my wig there's fever here." If the conduct of the men had been alarming in the boat, it became truly threatening when they had come aboard. They lay about the deck, growling together in talk. The slightest order was received with a black look, and grudgingly and carelessly obeyed. Even the honest hands must have caught the infection, for there was not one man aboard to mend another. Mutiny, it was plain, hung over us like a thundercloud. And it was not only we of the cabin party who perceived the danger. Long John was hard at work, going from group to group, spending himself in good advice. And as for example, no man could have shown a better. He fairly outstripped himself in willingness and civility. He was all smiles to everyone. If an order were given, John would be on his crutch in an instant, with the cheeriest "Aye, sir," in the world. And when there was nothing else to do, he kept up one song after another, as if to conceal the discontent of the rest. Of all the gloomy features of that gloomy afternoon, this obvious anxiety on the part of Long John appeared the worst. We held a council in the cabin. "Sir," said the captain, "if I risk another order, the whole ship will come about our ears by the run. You see, sir, here it is. I get a rough answer, do I not? Well, if I speak back, pikes will be going in 2 shakes. If I don't, Silver will see there's something under that and the game's up. Now we've only one man to rely on." "And who is that?" asked the squire. "Silver, sir," returned the captain. "He's as anxious as you and I to smother things up. This is a tiff. He'd soon talk him out of it if he had the chance. And what I propose to do is to give him the chance. Let's allow the men an afternoon ashore. If they all go, why, we'll fight the ship. If they none of them go, well then, we hold the cabin and God defend the right. If some go, you mark my words, sir, Silver will bring them aboard again, as mild as lambs." It was so decided. Loaded pistols were served out to all the suremen, Hunter, Joyce, and Redruth were taken into our confidence and received the news with less surprise and a better spirit than we had hoped for. And then the captain went on deck and addressed the crew. "My lads," said he, "we've had a hot day and are all tired and out of sorts. A turn ashore'll hurt nobody. The boats are still in the water. You can take the gigs, and as many as please may go ashore for the afternoon. I'll fire a gun half an hour before sundown." I believe the silly fellows must have thought they would break their shins over treasure as soon as they were landed, for they all came out of their sulks in a moment and gave a cheer that started the echo in a faraway hill and sent the birds once more flying and squalling round the anchorage. The captain was too bright to be in the way. He whipped out of sight in a moment, leaving Silver to arrange the party. And I fancy it was as well he did so. Had he been on deck, he could no longer so much as have pretended not to understand the situation. It was as plain as day. Silver was the captain, and a mighty rebellious crew he had of it. The honest hands, and I was soon to see it proved that there were such on board, must have been very stupid fellows. Or rather, I suppose the truth was this, that all hands were disaffected by the example of the ringleaders, only some more, some less, and a few, being good fellows in the main, could neither be led nor driven any further. It is one thing to be idle and skulk, and quite another to take a ship and murder a number of innocent men. At last, however, the party was made up. 6 fellows were to stay on board, and the remaining 13, including Silver, began to embark. Then it was that there came into my head the first of the mad notions that contributed so much to save our lives. If 6 men were left by Silver, it was plain our party could not take and fight the ship. And since only 6 were left, it was equally plain that the cabin party had no present need of my assistance. It occurred to me at once to go ashore. In a jiffy, I had slipped over the side and curled up in the foresheets of the nearest boat, and almost at the same moment she shoved off. No one took notice of me, only the bow oar saying, "Is that you, Jim? Keep your head down." But Silver from the other boat looked sharply over and called out to know if that were me. And from that moment, I began to regret what I had done. The crews raced for the beach, but the boat I was in, having some start, and being at once the lighter and the better manned, shot far ahead of her consort. And the bow had struck among the shoreside trees, and I had caught a branch and swung myself out and plunged into the nearest thicket, while Silver and the rest were still 100 yards behind. "Jim, Jim," I heard him shouting. But you may suppose I paid no heed, jumping, ducking, and breaking through, I ran straight before my nose till I could run no longer.